Hi, what's up everybody? So in this video, I'd like to just make sure your environment's set up nicely and kind of everything's there for us to use in our future series. So let's get started. What I've done is I've installed Visual Studio 2017 over here. Now, if you haven't already done so, you can install the community version. And what I'll do is I'll just bring that up for you all so you can kind of have a look at what it's supposed to look like. So a simple Google search on Visual Studio here, Visual Studio, and you'll see the 2019, which is the current one that is released during the recording of this video. If you click on that, you can download 2019. So you can just download the community version, which is free, and more than enough for what we need to do for our, our school projects or our simple personal applications. So you just want to install that, and after you install it, you're going to get this pop up. Well, not this exactly. You'll get the 2019 version of it, which looks like this. You'll get something like this. This is 2019. Right, and then you can create a new project here, right? And when that pops up, everything else kind of looks the same. And you can obviously choose your template. I've chosen a darker look, but you can choose a lighter look. It's up to you. So after you've got kind of this ready, I'll just go into up here in tools, get tools and features, just to confirm kind of what components you want to install when you're installing it. And what happens is this thing appears, which is the first thing you'll see when you do first install your Visual Studio, right? And it looks like I need an update. So what I'll do is just pause the video and do an update on that. And so it's just completed the update, and the main one you want to install for our purposes for this particular series is .NET Desktop Development. Just make sure that one's ticked when you're installing it. The rest is optional, whether you want to delve into other things such as C++, which is really what you should be programming your game in. Node.js, there's a few other things here, but the main one we want is this one because we just want the Windows form in Visual Basics there. And so after you've installed that, you're good to go. You'll see this, and you can create your first project. And to create your first project, you could go into new projects here. Go into new projects here, click on that new project there, and you can, there's on the side here you'll see Visual Basics. We want to go to Windows Desktop there, and we'll just go OK with that. And I've called it Windows Application 1. That's probably not what I want to call it. What I'll do is I'll just create another one because I want a good name for this. Totally forgot. So I'll just go to new project again. I'll discard this one, and I'll actually give it a proper name. Let's call this. We'll call this 2D framework 2D basic. We'll just call it framework 2D basics. This is a basic 2D framework that we're going to make to develop our games in, or our 2D games in. And we'll save that. And this is our form. All right, this is our form here. Now, for future, if you want to do other things in the future and do more than develop games, like such as applications, I would recommend sliding in going to view and going into toolbox and just sliding that in, because then you can like drag in buttons and stuff. You can put your buttons in, and you can learn how to do that. We won't be using those. We won't be using this particular toolbox. So you can move it around and stuff. You can lock it in, put your mouse cursor there, lock it to the side. And another thing that you'll probably want is properties on the side here, because these different objects have like all kinds of properties that you can set for it. All right, set for it. So you want to make sure kind of that's there. For this series, I do assume that you do know how to use this particular IDE and you are familiar with all of these things, such as the tools and property. If you're not, probably something you want to watch before you continue watching this series, just or quickly catch on as I go through it. You can resize your form. You can start your form here, and when I start the form, it will start on I think it starts on another page on one of my other screens. I'll have to set it so that it pops up on this screen, but there you go. Other than that, so you got Solution Explorer here. I like to have that up. So these are some of the things I like to have up, and I've got output up here for debugging purposes here. And if you don't have properties, it's somewhere here. Other is it any other? That's okay. Don't need to find it. Just right click and go properties there, and then this thing pops up. So that's one way of doing it. Right click on the form and then go to properties. This will pop up, and output should be in here. Output's here. Or Control Alt O, and then this output appears. So that's kind of some of the important things I like to use. All right, so that's pretty much the environment kind of set up. Everything's kind of there. If we double click into this form, we'll get into our code section. This is kind of the back end of this form, and we can start doing our thing, which is we can also get to this from double clicking on the side here, Solution Explorer. If you don't have Solution Explorer, again, go to View, and it's here, right? And you just lock it into place. So spend some time kind of locking everything into place so that everything's kind of there for you. All right, I guess it's been time, so I don't want to go too long. We'll start creating the game framework in the next video.